Sourdough Sam.
No, Sourdeath Sam.
Sourdeath Sam.
Sourdeath Sam.
Sourdeath Sam.
Disrespect to Sourdeath Sam will not continue.
Hola, amigos. What's going on, everyone? Hope you had an okay weekend, because we put up a fucking stinker on Sunday. Yep. Put up a stinker, folks. Not a good day for us against the Cardinals. Not a good day for you if you are a fan who paid for tickets to sit in the stands that day. I believe it got up to 99 degrees. I'm sure your internal temperature probably went up to 130. And truthfully, Ashley, I got you. Truthfully, anyone who was watching the game, whether at home or whether you were watching in the stands, everyone was red hot. Red hot. And let me tell you, I was pretty red hot too. And the reason why is because it was such a winnable game. Such a winnable game. In fact, we were winning for 3/4 of that game. And guess what? We ended up losing. By 1 point, blowing the lead in the fourth quarter. Let me get some of these comments real quick. First of all, we got Diego Figueroa saying the best hour in all of YouTube. That's when I don't have technical difficulties.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying, that's my bad. Like the 49ers, I've had a string of unfortunate incidents, and I'm looking to bounce back. Ryan Reed says, boo, to what I presume was me talking about the game. In fact, he corroborates this by saying, we fucked it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But you know what? It is a new day. It is Wednesday, October 9th, and tomorrow we give ourselves yet another chance to take on NFL's best teams. Unfortunately, the Seahawks are not one of them, so we better not lose to them. Well, I know one person who is on a lot of people's minds. Some people may think he's responsible. Some people, may not. But let's go ahead and talk to him and get his opinion on things. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle 5000. Kyle, man, kind of a stinker on Sunday. How are you feeling about the loss?
How am I feeling? Oh, I don't know. Like I just watched my team gift wrap a win for the Cardinals. We go into that game as clear favorites. And what do? We collapse in the fourth quarter like a deck of cards in a hurricane. That defense, which is supposed to be elite, got absolutely clowned by Josh Dobbs. I still can't process how that happened. Where the hell was our pass rush? Did Nick Bosa forget how to sack a quarterback? Did Fred Warner forget how to tackle? It's like everyone was on vacation while Dobbs played catch with his receivers.
Kyle, I think
don't get me started on the offense.
I think your firmware
we had the game in
is
hand,
set to 2024,
and then suddenly,
brother.
We couldn't string together a competent drive to save our lives. Purdy looked shaky. The O-line was folding. And the play calling. Let's just say I'm going to have a hard time watching that tape back without throwing something at the wall. It's not like the Cardinals are some juggernaut. But apparently, we decided they deserve a confidence boost. Bottom line, I'm pissed. This was a game we should have won easily. No, instead of sitting pretty, we're licking our wounds and heading into a divisional game against the Seahawks with a whole lot of doubt. I swear, if we don't come out swinging tomorrow night, I'm going to lose it.
Okay, you got a lot of things wrong there. Maybe that's apropos for the season. We are heading for a matchup against the Seahawks, and I am looking forward to that. Josh Dobbs is actually on your team now. We're going to make sure you get your firmware updated. But we do have Ashley Aireonna on the show tonight, friend of the show. Want to see if you have any words about her. What do you think about that?
Oh, Ashley Aireonna, welcome. You came at a hell of a time. I'm sure you're just dying to break down that disaster we served up last Sunday. If you've got some kind of rational take on how we lost to Josh Dobbs
It's
and the
not
Cardinals,
Josh Dobbs, dude.
I'm all ears because I'm still seeing red.
It's not Josh
It felt like
Dobbs.
we just let everything fall apart after 3 quarters of solid football. And I need someone to talk me off this ledge. But seriously, I know you're good at picking up on those little details. What's your take on how the defense managed to disappear when it mattered most? And how are we supposed to get the offense back on track heading into this Seahawks game?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle 5000 crashing out right before our very eyes. You got to respect that, man. He's down bad.
Yes, sir.
Ugh, you know, I think that's my fault. I spent so much money, so much Bitcoin on actually acquiring him that I didn't actually get an engineer to, make sure his firmware is up to date. Josh Dobbs is actually a 49er. That's a fun fact right there.
Yes, sir.
Haywire says, oh no, K5000 is malfunctioning. Yeah, well, he's had a rough week. You got to give him a little bit of a break here. But you know what? Let me tell you something. There was one bright spot this weekend. Your boy made a little money on his parlay. That's right, you brokies. I won $15 this weekend. Let me tell you how I did it. Listen, I do a parlay every week. It's called Sourdeath Sam's $5 Pick'em. I usually lose every week. But guess what? I won $15 this week.
Yes, sir.
2 of the people I picked in my pick'em last week did not get their respective touchdowns. But that doesn't matter because the beauty of the pick'em is that even if a few are a misstep, you can still make a little bit of money to make sure that $5 comes back. It's so amazing, this world of sports betting. And if you have the means, if you have the discipline, I encourage you to hop in with me. I only put in $5. I stand to win 1,000 plus. Let me tell you what I got going on this week. Let me tell you where my vote of confidence is now that I'm a winning man. I got Brandon Ayuk getting a touchdown. That's right. I said it. I got him getting a touchdown this week. You'll see a little bit about him a little bit later, but believe me, he's on dog alert. Jaden Daniels, I got him throwing 2 passing touchdowns against Baltimore. I think that one's going to be a shootout.
Yes, sir.
I got Saquon getting a touchdown. I got Marvin Harrison getting a touchdown. Drake May. You know what? I say, why not? I got him throwing a single touchdown. He gets one as a treat. J.K. Dobbins, I got him getting a rushing or receiving touchdown. Jared Goff throwing 2 tutties against Dallas, another shootout in the making. And T. Higgins, I got him catching another touchdown, just to let people know what's going down. And if you want a part of this action, if you want to be a boss hog like me and win $15 once every 5 weeks, then come on in, bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. That's bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. Your first deposit, brother, matched in bonus cash up to $1,000.
Yes, sir.
bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. J.K. Dobbins wrote Harry Potter, if memory serves. That's right. And now he's running touchdowns for my parlay. Can you believe it?
Yes, sir.
All right. I got one last, I got a friend coming on the show as we spoke about earlier. I got Ashley Aireonna. Very excited to have her on. I believe the last time I talked to her actually was before we played the Seahawks. So it was a perfect opportunity to bring the party back together. But before I do that, I need to talk about who brought the motherfucking party to San Francisco, Santa Clara, even though we lost the game. It's time for Dog of the Day.
Big dog. Big dog. Dog of the day.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, the big dog of the day, none other than Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, sir.
On my show last week with Jordan Elliott, who was an amazing guest. It's very unfortunate I was running into technical difficulties. That time it wasn't my fault at all. I would just like to say it was the problem of the service provider that I use for streaming. So everyone direct your hate in their direction. They deserve it. Cyberbullying works. The dog of the day was Brandon Ayuk. Obvious to anyone who watched the game. On offense, it felt like everything was inverted, where typically Jordan Mason was the stud, and George Kittle did get a touchdown, but the person who stood out by and large, no question, was Brandon Ayuk, and it was about time. And I think he needed that. I think we needed that. I think collectively it was such a bright spot in such a unfortunate result of a game that he needs to get his flowers for that one. 8 catches, 147 yards, season high, 12 targets. The 8 catches was also a season high. And again, another season high, 48 yards after the catch. Another thing the 49ers have been in desperate need of, yards after catch. We used to be the Yak boys, and now we couldn't find Yak if we bumped ourselves right into it. The amount of yards he had in this game against the Cardinals was only 20 yards shy of how many yards he had for all of the first games combined. So to give you some perspective, that's how much of a massive leap this past game was for Brandon Ayuk, and that is why he is my motherfucking dog of the day.
Big dog. Big dog. Dog of the day.
All right, guys. Let me see if there's any comments here before I bring on my guest. Ayuk is out of the doghouse and off the leash. Yeah, and now he's the big dog off the leash.
Yes, sir.
Big dog of the day. And Wednesday night entertainment at its finest. Whew. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And what a perfect segue to bring on my guests. The magnificent, the effervescent, the extraordinary Ashley Aireonna. What's going on? How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Since I've been on, I think it was last November.
That's right. And we were playing the Seahawks, and you were my guest, and we definitely hit on a lot of points that we saw in that game. So I figured, who better to bring on than you?
Thank you. I will say though, the last time I was on, I also had a bunch of treats. My dad had made Thanksgiving treats. So I'm kind of upset that I'm not eating a bunch of sugar while doing it.
That's fine. I've actually DoorDashed a box of crumble cookies to your door. Hold on. I need to. Hold on. One second. I got to fix an audio thing before I ruin this whole. There we go.
Let go.
No, that was my fault. Sam. Yeah, typical Sourdeath Sam, dude. I'm getting fired before the season's
over. Just like
over.
the 49ers. I mean, how long have you been doing this, and you're still struggling?
I know they're looking to replace me with Robert Saleh already. I'm cooked. But hey, listen, I want people to know where you are right now, because you are out of the nest. You are somewhere special. Why don't you let the people know where you are?
I'm in enemy territory. I am in Seattle. I just went to Pike's Market for the first time ever. Got some Instagram pictures. Very cool.
Nice.
Also had some Greek food. I think I'm supposed to get fish there, but there was no guys throwing fish because I came too late. But for
I've
good
actually
luck,
also, or on top of your crumble cookies, I've actually assigned someone to throw fish at you when you leave the
that's
hotel
a part
tomorrow.
of the experience.
Yeah,
When
so
you go
be
to
ready.
Seattle,
You gotta
it's part of the
get ready to get your hands ready.
Heck yeah. I will say though, the people when you were taking off and landing, they were 49ers fans. The lady, it was an older lady on the intercom, and she was like, hate to say it to you because I know you guys just landed in Seattle, but go Niners. And I was like, woo!
Yeah, gotta love that. Gotta love that. And you'd be amazed. I went to the Minnesota game last year, another tragic result, and honestly, the fans, they travel so well. It feels like
full.
Yeah, it feels like any
I also
excuse
saw Matt
for
Mayoka. I felt like I was like, ooh, you're famous. I know you.
Really? You had some people being like,
I walked
hey,
by and I was like, oh, what's up, Matt Mayoka?
that's
Tell me
what's
the
up.
inside scoop. What's John Lynch saying? Did he call Robert Saleh?
That's a good question. Did he happen to? Did you hear him say anything about me?
he said, "Wow, there's this really good show. I think it's airing tonight, but even more important than the host, I think he's going to have an excellent guest on." And I went, "Wonder who she is."
It's you. It's you.
Crazy how that works out. Crazy.
It's
how that
crazy.
Works out.
Well, we're
I just
happy to
was
have
feeling
you.
generous.
I'm glad you're in Seattle. We need as many troops in there as we can. Obviously, one of the things they are known for over there is having an impressive crowd when it comes to a visiting team, but not so fast. We've got Ashley on the case. So
I heard it gets loud right in the stadium. Have you been to Seattle?
I have not been. It is on my bucket list. I need to experience that to a certain degree. So I will be living vicariously through you as you go through that experience.
I'm hoping for a win.
We are
I
looking
almost
for.
went to the Cardinals game with my dad. He's never been to a 49ers game, and he wanted to go, and I was like, "Dad, it's going to be 105. No." And he was like, "No, I want to go because I don't want to go to the Chiefs game because they're going to lose to the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Cardinals." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right about that."
The funny is how it actually truly might be the inverse experience completely. I think that the 49ers putting up losing in the fourth quarter in 100 degrees to the Cardinals, I genuinely think that perhaps with the CMC return against the Cardinals in much better weather, that might be the game to go to.
Okay.
Against the Chiefs.
The last game of the season.
No, oh, you mean the Super Bowl? I wish. Against the Chiefs, I think that will be a good game. CMC, I think, might be back for that. We will see. But in the meantime, we
That kind
have.
of pisses me off. If they're waiting for Christian McCaffrey to come back to fix their offense, come on now.
And that's actually something we'll get into. But we have to address the elephant in the room, which is that in the fourth quarter this Sunday, we lost to the Arizona Cardinals, and it was not a pretty sight. We had momentum going in. We were almost there to the finish line, but lo and behold, a fourth quarter lead turned into imminent disaster. Let's air out these demons. I want to know, how are you feeling? What did you notice? What did you pick up from that loss on Sunday?
I felt extremely frustrated and honestly off the bat, right? Because 49ers go 3 and out on offense. Kyler Murray runs right away. I don't know if you listened to the broadcast, but Tom Brady gave him some stupid like ESPN award after the game, and Brady was like, he was asking Kyler, "When did you know you were going to score on that play?" And he was like, "Oh, we had it schemed up to run at Bosa as long as he was going to bite, and the second he bit, I knew I was going in for a touchdown." And I feel like as a fan, when you start off like that, it's like a sinking in your stomach right away. But I didn't think the 49ers were going to lose the game, even starting off like that. We've seen them make weird blunders to start the game and come back. And obviously, they were winning by 10, so kind of a collapse at the end. Pretty frustrating, multiple games in a row. The fumbles, Jordan Mason, got to get a hold of that. Turnovers, Brock Purdy. And then not being able to score in the red zone. I mean, all the way back in the Vikings game, and maybe even the Jets game, and we just didn't realize it. But I remember realizing how difficult it felt like for them to get. I think there were 2 of 10 out of trips to the red zone, and I remember thinking they had to work hard to get those 2 touchdowns in the red zone. And every game since then, it's been that same story. Weirdly enough, they seem to be walking down the field. It's not difficult for them to get there, but the closer, I saw some stat, the closer they get to the end zone, the harder it is, or the worse they're doing at actually scoring. So pretty frustrating to seemingly go on a great drive where you're killing 10 minutes off the clock, you're moving the ball down the field, everyone's getting involved. Brock Purdy's getting Jennings, BA, Kittle, everyone, Mason's running. I mean, to start the season with Christian McCaffrey out, you're like, can Mason actually keep up this production? Obviously, I wanted to see him play and thought he played well last year, but if this is his full workload, can he keep it up? And then they're actually doing it until they get to the final 10 yards. And you're like, why? How did everything fall apart now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the red zone woes have been quite evident. And that is perhaps where I don't question. I've been a huge Jordan Mason truther. I love him. He continues to be the leader in broken tackles. He's just a stud in many, 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 many ways. CMC is just adds a layer of dynamic versatility that it's to no fault of Jordan Mason, is just what makes CMC such a absolute one of a kind diamond of a player. And so that type of versatility is what you miss in his absence. And I absolutely do think that him returning will at minimum help in the red zone. I think Jordan Mason is a fantastic running back. I think his challenge is that so frequently the 49ers are running into a stacked box, and it's so hard. You can lead the league in broken tackles all you want, but at a certain point, the tread is going to wear, and I think he's feeling it. And I would hope that he's able to get the rest he needs on a short week going into Seattle, because we're going to need him again. And the fumble that killed us again. Where was that? Right around the red zone.
And that's crushing as a Jordan Mason truther, right? You see that and you're like, oh, like it's almost
not my
that
boy.
It's good. It's bad as like fans, but you're almost like, for your sake, it's good Christian McCaffrey's injured, because you would not see the field again, buddy, if you kept doing that.
Totally.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I agree that Christian McCaffrey's skill set as a pass catcher is far and beyond what we've seen from Jordan Mason. I will say I would hope that Kyle Shanahan could scheme up a way to, even if it's just like a dump off pass, when instead of Brock Purdy holding it for, I think the longest he's ever held the ball in the last 2 seasons, like 3.4 seconds or something. It's the longest in the league. Instead of doing that, is there a way? Maybe it's not his first option, but you can use Jordan Mason more as a check down. And then that helps with what you're saying. Jordan Mason always going against stacked boxes, because the opposing defense obviously knows he's going to run the ball. Maybe if you just put him in I'm only saying like 5-6 times a game, where you show that he can be a pass catching option just within that like 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. I think that could help open things up a little bit if you do start passing there, because then defenses feel like they have to be a little more honest. And 2, like, I'm not saying you have to put him on a crazy route or make him, go 10, 15 yards up the field, but 5, like, he can't catch the ball 5 yards.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like he's talented. His running is obviously working, and the team is obviously facing problems in the red zone. If you're such a creative play caller, get this guy involved, because he can break a tackle. So if he catches it within 2 yards of the end zone, maybe he can fall forward and actually get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, taking the opportunity to examine how much we can expand Jordan Mason's role in
just for now, why
sure.
Chris McCaffrey isn't available.
I think Kyle is going to audit that as best he can. I would like to see it until it's proven otherwise. I mean, clearly CMC's pass catching is in a world of its own, but we've seen Jordan Mason be able to take in these passes, but you've got to also pass the Kyle Shanahan test of does he trust you to be a first or second read? And the answer is probably not over the people who he's paying money to catch the ball, which is the challenge, even though we're paying someone who is supposed to catch the ball to run the ball, that being Deebo Samuel. And honestly, every time I see him in the backfield, it makes me nervous. I just appreciate Deebo more being able to catch and get his yak versus being in the backfield.
He's also no longer that effective from the backfield. I think he's averaging 2.5 yards a carry. I don't know if it was something specific that they were doing that they're not doing anymore, or if defenses have just adjusted to it. But yeah, I would
completely
focus on getting those over routes for Deebo and less running the ball. But if that's the case, maybe something they could do to try to improve until Jordan Mason comes back is sign a different running back that Kyle trusts. Because right now, I mean, I think they need to be running the ball more. I don't know
Is
if
Garendo
it's
not doing it for you?
Garendo. Did you see? There's this clip on Twitter. Oh, it made me so mad. Johnny Odell's Football Academy. He's a content creator on here, and he breaks down film. Trent Williams and George Kittle part the seas. My sister and I could hold hands and skip through this hole. And if Garendo waited 0.3 seconds, he would have seen it open up. But he goes to run and immediately bounces out. And by the way, the Cardinal safety staring at him and just tackles him. So he doesn't even get like a yard. And as he's getting tackled, you see this giant hole where he's getting tackled in the beginning of, and you're like, oh, you could have. And by the way, that was a red zone play. Don't give it. You barely trust this guy. Why are you trusting him in the red zone? That's what I'm saying. Like maybe Jordan Mason isn't perfect, but like he's at least shown that he can do something. He's capable of something. I would rather give him the opportunity to score in between the 5-yard line and the end zone than Isaac Rendo. He was good at the combine. He wasn't even good in college. He just had like good stats.
I think the thing with Garendo is I don't think they expected him to have this much time on the field right now. I think they fully expected him to be able to sort of have more time to develop as opposed to being thrown into the mix here. Now, with that being said, I think no experience is bad experience in the context of the player getting reps. Now,
True.
it's just the question is does he add a dynamic enough element to our offense for us to be excited about him being in? And I think the short answer is we'd probably want to just see Jordan Mason as much as possible. Truly, I'm the thing I am most excited about. There's a couple of things. The cavalry, to a certain degree, is, knock on wood, coming. I think CMC and Jordan Mason is an element that we have not really seen as much before. Because last year it was the CMC show, and then occasionally Jordan Mason would poke in when CMC was getting his like firmware updated or his screws tightened, and then it was back to CMC. But I think now that Jordan Mason has already kind of had his sort of coming out party of being a dog, I really do think that the 1-2 punch between the two of them is probably the best case scenario for the 49ers in general. Obviously, when CMC is on the field, he can be anything for you. He can be your running back. He can be a wide receiver. He can be your quarterback to a certain degree. But with that being said, I think now that we've seen that Jordan Mason can be our little baby Marshawn Lynch, I think there is more license for us to welcome him into more reps, even on CMC's return. The other thing I'm looking forward to is getting a little bit of a look into Ricky Pearsall and seeing, is there anything that he can add? Is there any unique wrinkle to his game that we haven't really been able to see at all? That may be a surprising addition to our roster in a way that we may not have anticipated. Because here's the thing about the Cardinals game, is that when I take a step back and I look at it, it was an ongoing series of unfortunate mistakes or missed opportunities that ended up leading into a loss in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, you can take the aggregate of all those things and say, well, we didn't play well enough. Sure. But I happen to believe there are things that were both in and out of the control of the team, or at least of the players, or at minimum were things that were just unfortunate circumstances. The tipped interceptions, the kicker feeling like he needed to be a hero and getting injured. And these are kind of some of the things we'll go into, but I do think that the Seattle game can be an opportunity for them to clean up those mistakes. But you can't argue that this was a infuriating loss, because it felt like we were about to start getting momentum, and then we just let it sift through our fingers, and we let a Brandon Ayuk big time game go to waste, just as we did a big time Juwan Jennings game go to waste. So
those are horrible, right? When these players, whether it's Jennings, I feel like as a fan, you root for these guys. So Jennings has been on the team so long. Some people think he's underrated or didn't understand what he had, and you see him go off and you want that game to be able to be celebrated. Same thing with Brandon Ayuk. Obviously had such a tumultuous offseason, came back. It feels like the entire narrative, everyone who wanted him to get paid was now shitting on him. And maybe that was, fair. I'm not saying it's not. But then he has a great game, and you kind of wish that the team could like christen that and actually let you celebrate it. Instead, that's, not even narrative, not even top 10 on the narratives of the game.
Totally. You wish so bad that Jawan Jennings' like monster game could have been a signature win featuring Jawan Jennings. You wish so bad that this could have been signature win of the Brandon Ayuk coming out party in 2024. And none of those things, came true. It was just they were.
I also just feel like good teams win that Cardinals game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
and they know that too. And they
Yeah.
some of these players have alluded to it where they said, we still haven't won these sort of grimy games. And it's like, well, I mean, the season's not going to last forever. And these are all divisional, these are divisional games or at least, NFC games that you're dropping. And wake the fuck up because it's time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to our next segment here, which I call True or False. Very simple game. I ask a question or make a statement, and you say true or false and state your case. By the way, we got Grant Cohn, friend of the show. He says, free Jordan Mason.
Yes,
Now that you said that,
sir.
Kyle, he's not even going to play this game. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks, Grant. All right,
Thanks,
true or
Grant.
false? We would have won that game with Christian McCaffrey. True or false?
The problems are bigger than him, but he is a good mask for them. So, yeah, I think the Cardinals game, I think they could have, some of those touchdowns would have been, or some of those field goals would have been touchdowns. If you score a field goal in the second half, score any points at all, you win that game. If one of those field goals in the first half were a touchdown, you win that game. Yeah. I also think maybe they even have the ball a little bit longer. I think that could have affected the way the Cardinals played. I think so.
I'm going to say true. I think the threat of him in the red zone, I think, is understated. He
That's
fumbled
interesting because I've talked about him as like him being the threat in the end zone, and you're saying not only is like he a capable option, but just having him on the field then opens up all the other guys so much more too, which is
because I mean, it's he's so dynamic. It's unfair. I mean, when I look at I don't know, Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think he's gonna zip off on a clean route that's gonna shake somebody off. Like, I know what his job is. His job is to take that ball and run it somewhere. And so when I look at, or at least now it is, when I look at CMC, I think he's too dynamic. I think he's too versatile. I think in a 1-point loss in which we saw a fumble by one of our running backs, who again love Jordan Mason, but
Christian McCaffrey fumbled in the Super Bowl, so
sure,
let's not attack Mason.
But it was a rare sight for him to see.
Agree.
So I'll say
I just
yes.
got defensive. That was my bad.
No, that's fine. It's cool. We all have trauma. We're here to share it.
We're agreeing, but then I was fighting with you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We're friends here. And that's what friends do. True or false? We should worry about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
You think?
I think so. He's holding the ball way too long. He's not making those quick snap decisions that he used to be making. And he's fumbled. I mean, every game except for the Jets, he's either fumbled or had an interception. I think that's an issue. What made him the going to be $60 million man is played clean, took care of the football, protected the football, made the right decisions, distributed to players that Jimmy wasn't even, looking at, threw the ball down in the field more. And yes, obviously his legs are a plus because he can get a first down if he needs them. He can avoid pressure when Jake Brendel is getting pushed back into him or Colton McKivitz whiffs on a block. Those things are important, but you also have to have discernment. You have to know, okay, when should I bail on this pocket because it's collapsing, or when can I hang in there for one more second and throw the ball to a right about to be open George Kittle? And sometimes he's been we've seen him be excellent at making those decisions for the majority of his career. But we know when he felt like it was all on him in college that he did a lot of that hero ball. And I see a little bit of that coming out. I don't know why. But I don't think it's something to like look over and not say is important. I mean, he's playing like a different quarterback. He's holding the ball. He held the ball his first season for 2.4 seconds, second season 2.8 seconds, now 3.4 seconds. That's a lot longer. And I know his excuse in the press conference was he's had a couple long scrambles, which by the way, I also said on my channel, like and subscribe, that I thought that maybe that was the reason because they were averaging those out. But then if you look at Lamar Jackson and other guys Jalen Hurts, who run the ball, so you imagine that those averages are also higher for them. They're all lower than Brock Purdy. So there has to be a little bit of an adjustment back to the norm for him. Now, maybe there will be, but you would hope that you see that without Christian McCaffrey coming back. I don't think they should put it all on that, you know?
You make great points. Very sound reasoning.
So I'm saying true. But I'm also saying don't pay him. He's horrible. I hate him. You know, that would be.
Yeah. It's true or false. It's a binary question, and it's okay. You can say true, because someone has to say false. It's gonna be me. I say false. You make great points.
I know I did.
I think
now you're gonna agree.
Like and subscribe. I think I am of the camp where I give some grace for games like this. One of his interceptions tipped pass at the line. The other one hit on the throw. So if you're taking a look at his interceptions, maybe you can ding him on the tip at the line, but getting hit on the throw, he had the right read. It was just an unfortunate circumstance there. Didn't get the ball out quick enough. To your point, what I will say is that he has demonstrated with such consistency a level of relative mastery of what he's being assigned to do by Kyle that I am very infrequently worried about where he's trying to send the ball to, and I'm typically very infrequently worried about making sure that he gets the ball where it needs to be.
Do you feel that way this year?
I
or
do.
Just, are you going
I
off
do.
Of his career?
I think that we will have the full body of work by the end of the season to adequately assess whether or not I'm full of shit or not. But I do believe that he's still, I still believe he is a great quarterback with a capital G. I think that he needs to demonstrate it. The question is, am I worried? No. I think if the question was, are you beginning to feel uncomfortable? What am I trying to say? I'm not worried yet. What I would say is that I'm at least going to be watching this next game with a bit more attention on making sure that I'm not lying to people right now, if that makes sense. I'm going to say right now, I think he's a great quarterback. I feel confident in him. I think he's going to deliver he delivers the ball more often where it needs to be than not. And in this game against Seattle, I'm watching and making sure that I'm right. What?
Can't you have a great quarterback and still worry about them? I mean, people are worried about Patrick Mahomes right now.
I will say this:
he's the best quarterback ever.
If we lose this next game and he makes boneheaded throws, then my answer is true. So I
need someone to smell your armpits after the game and tell me if you're worried or not.
Not yet. But someone can do that if they want. I usually pay people to do that. Okay, true or false? Kyle Shanahan is to blame for blowing the fourth quarter lead.
Yeah. I mean, he's the head coach. He's in charge of everything. So defensive missed tackles, that's on you. Brock Purdy not being able to get the ball out on time, whether it's offensive line, not trusting his eyes, not believing players are open, that comes down to you and your game plan. I think George Kittle went on KMBR and said that the plays have been too confusing this year, and they need to get back to their brand of football. I might actually have the quote teed up even. No, I don't. It was in my bookmarks, but then it went away because it does that. But I'll read it to you, don't you worry, if I can find it, or I won't. The moral of the story was that he didn't execute. Is it going to be there? We didn't execute the plays that we needed to. We didn't do those things, and there are plays that we've executed before and have been in much more difficult scenarios. I don't know what's going on. It's been very confusing out there. We have to figure it out and get back to playing the way that we normally play. We can get back to doing that. So, is it confusing that they're seemingly committed to their drop back passing game, which is, in my opinion, the worst part of Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme? I mean, they should be incorporating more play action, running the ball more. For some reason, they're putting Purdy in 7-step dropbacks, and then he's taking it for another 10 seconds to run. That could be confusing. But also, I mean, clearly you had a bad game, so maybe you shouldn't be talking. I don't know. But
these are fair points. To continue on my contrarian journey, just for the spirit of dialogue, of debate, I will say he is not responsible. He is not solely to blame for this loss.
You keep asking me questions and then changing them for your answer.
Yeah. I'm trying to play both sides, Ashley.
Okay.
You gotta, you hear me out here.
Little Shannon Sharp.
Kyle Shanahan is
That's
Kyle Shanahan is to blame for blowing the fourth quarter lead. No, I'll tell you the circumstances in which I don't believe that. The loss was by 1 point in the fourth quarter. In the third quarter, had we had our field goal kicker, that we already would have potentially have cleared 2 points over that final score just with that. Unfortunately, we had to effectively throw a punt towards the end zone with a hospital ball headed towards George Kittle. Then we had Jordan Mason at the 8-yard line. 8-yard line, which again, had we had a field goal kicker, even if we didn't get into the end zone, potentially, even Mitch Wishnowsky probably could have kicked that field goal. So there were two circumstances outside of Kyle Shanahan's control in which that game could have been won by either 2 points or beyond. And those circumstances were extremely unfortunate. Can you tie a series of knots together to eventually get to, well, head coach, he should have coached them better on how not to fumble, or he should have instructed the special teams coach to never allow his kicker to ever go for a tackle. You could tie those knots together. In my view of the game, I don't believe Kyle Shanahan is to blame for the fourth quarter lead, but that is because of these circumstances being so evident in potential scoring opportunities. So that would be my
offense. Did his offense score a touchdown or a field goal in the fourth quarter?
They almost did. They were at the 8-yard line until one of the running backs fumbled.
But they had multiple trips, right? Like that wasn't the only one. That wasn't their only.
Well, they had made it all the way until the 27, until it was fourth down. They couldn't kick a field goal. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are both fair observations, and that's what makes debate so fun. Is that nobody's wrong. I think that.
I thought it was fun that I was right and you were wrong.
No, I wouldn't be able to stand for that. Not on this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is your.
Yes, sir.
Never. I will never be wrong on this show. Never. I'm always wrong on the show. It's called Sourdeath Sam's $5 Pick'em, bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. All right. All right, let's get to our last one, and then we're going to talk about Seahawks, and we're going to get to my favorite part. Actually, we got, let's see, 44. Ooh, okay. Let me just pick one more. Which one do I do? I'm going to do, that one's kind of sad, so I'm going to do this one. It's probably more the hot topic anyways.
Wait, are you doing not the sad one?
I'm doing not the sad one.
But now I want to know what the sad one was. That was like a weird tease.
Yeah, well, okay.
I was like, I just had a thought. And then someone's like, oh, what was it? Oh, never mind. Like,
Okay,
oh, I want to kill you now.
Do you want Nick Sorensen will be our defensive coordinator next season, or do you want the sad one?
I want the sad one.
Okay.
I don't care about that one.
True or false? Talanoa Hufanga has started his last game at safety with the 49ers.
You're right. The mood went down.
Dude, I told you. You asked for this. You asked for this. If anyone's mad right now or sad, this is I could point right here. That's her fault. But we're here now. True or false? I didn't say last snap ever. I just said starting his last game at safety with the 49ers.
No, okay. But even that, you didn't say it's his last season. He has a wrist injury. I think he could. No, I'm going to say false. I'm going to say he could start again this season, but I don't think they extend him. But I think he'll have a career somewhere else. And I think this wrist injury, I know he's on IR for 4 weeks, but I imagine that he'll come back, even if not a starter at first. They have 2 starting caliber safeties aside from him, Malik Mustafa, who's looked incredible, and Jair Brown. But say 4 weeks go by, Talanoa is healthy, but he's backing one of them up, and things happen all the time in football. They could tweak an ankle for 1 game and he starts. I don't know. I don't think it's the last game of his. I think it's the last season, but no, last game with the 49ers.
I'm going to say true. And I really like this player. I mean, all my memories, it was like he was always like the first guy out on the field in training camp, and he's just like he's such a wonderful guy. So like, let's not get it twisted. That's why I almost didn't want to do this one. I was like, I don't want to do this guy dirty because
for anyone, I made him. I didn't. As soon as you read it, I regret. I was like, oh, I made a mistake.
You didn't know. It's fine, and it's a fair question. And I absolutely think he has many, many, many seasons ahead of him. In fact, I'm going to answer this question with true. This is his last. He started his last game at safety with the 49ers. But he honestly, what I think is going to happen is this: it's the last season of his contract.
He'll go somewhere else, and
he'll go into free agency. He'll have a full camp with a team, and he's going to do an amazing job. I actually kind of hope it's the 49ers. It just depends on how the season shakes out. But I absolutely think he's going to be just fine. But it's just
the right mindset. Yes. The injuries have been. But to be fair, and this is only I agree with your point and everything about it, but I want to do the devil's advocate thing. He tore the ACL. He came back. If there was even an inch of instability, and I don't mean like still injured, I just mean not fully trusting your knee, then you could the injury he had after that was an ankle injury. And I'm someone who I played sports all up till college, and I had a lot of those like second injuries that I would get from trying to come back too fast, not giving myself enough rest. And what you do is you start utilizing other muscles and over exerting them. So it's very possible that if his knee didn't feel stable enough, he was pressing harder on his ankle in a way that he didn't train his whole life to do that. So maybe he tweaked his ankle. That was, I think he only missed a game with the ankle. So that to me is kind of on, maybe he just can't rush back. That doesn't mean he's injury prone, just the ankle.
Sure.
And then obviously now he has the wrist, which is unfortunate. But if you kind of think of it instead of 3 separate injuries as the one big Achilles injury and then a wrist, I don't know. To me, that feels more manageable than thinking he had an Achilles and then back to back got injured 2 separate places.
Sure.
I think that ankle injury as part of the ACL still. Sorry, I think I said Achilles, but ACL.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, him getting on IR absolutely stinks. I mean, it completely throws a wrench into the spokes as far as him getting his momentum back. But I absolutely do think no matter how this shakes down, we have certainly not seen the last of Hufanga. Hopefully he gets a chance to sort of rev things up back this year. If not, then, free agency will let the chips fall where they fall. But,
and as a bright spot, Mustafa has been like, I'm not trying to shit on Huff, but I think Mustafa's been wonderful. And as I feel like you are kind of like this too, you always are hoping that Kyle Shanahan will actually give these rookies a chance to play and prove themselves. And I think he's someone who got the opportunity due to injury, but has really proven he should be on the field. I'm sure he's made a couple rookie errors, but I think he hits really hard, has a good eye for the ball. I'm not saying he's the best, but for a rookie, I think at least the version of Huff that we got coming off his injury, I think Mustafa is playing better right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're hoping he brings, and the whole team brings their A game for our upcoming matchup, 49ers versus Seahawks. This game always means a lot to 49ers fans. I think there's just a history of rivalry that no matter how bad or good the respective teams are, this game just means a lot extra to us.
Yes.
This game now means a lot to this current team. I think
Yeah.
it is a very, very critical junction where we are faced with yet another NFC West opponent, and we know that losing this game would topple a lot of things into chaos. When you look at this matchup, sort of what are you keeping an eye on as you're previewing things for tomorrow evening?
And the 49ers, and it's obviously, can their offense score touchdowns, get in the red zone? Can they make an impact? Heck, if for some reason they're allergic to the end zone within the red zone, Kyle Shanahan, can you be creative and start calling some longer passes from right outside the end zone and actually target the end zone instead of relying on your guys to get yak yards? When we look at previous seasons, Christian McCaffrey last year, I think tied the record for having the most touchdowns in a single season. A lot of those were yards after the catch. Deebo Samuel, obviously his whole thing is yards after the catch. Right now he's not doing excellent at it. The only guy, George Kittle, same issue. Brandon Ayuk, same issue. And maybe Brandon Ayuk is rounding into form. But I do think with the style of players that the style of stars that we have right now, Kyle is used to consistently calling plays outside of the end zone and anticipating that his players can run there. I want to say have a little more trust in your quarterback, maybe target end zone a little bit more from a little farther back. If you are, I mean, he seems committed to the drop back passing. If you're going to do that, don't just do it to walk yourself. I mean, it's getting them down the field, and then once they're all the way down there, they like switch it up. So don't do that. Any sort of offensive efficiency I'm looking forward to. There's a couple injuries in the Seahawks backfield that I think could help out with that as well. Obviously, you never want injury. I'm just talking logistically. And then I've publicly put myself out there, so hopefully I don't look stupid. But I publicly put myself out there for multiple years and said Geno's never scared me. And it's mostly because I'm a 49ers fan. And maybe he's been good elsewhere, but I've always seen him look like he just peed his pants every time Nick Bosa's staring across from him, Fred Warner staring across from him. But this year, this front four is different, and they're not getting a ton of pressure. I don't think they got any pressures at all until the second quarter last game. Nick Bosa obviously ended up getting that interception, so that kind of changed the narrative there, but they're really not getting home. They're not getting to the quarterback. I mean, I think last year we were arguing pressures aren't enough. They need to get sacks. Now we're just hoping for pressures even. So if they can scare Geno Smith, maybe he's the one that doesn't protect the football this game. Maybe Kyle Shanahan, like I said, who I think does have some, this is not the right word, but blood on his hands for the losses. For lack of a better, I can't think of the actual academic word for that.
That's a bar. That's cool.
Yeah, so maybe Kyle Shanahan, go to your quarterback, stress protecting the football over all else. If Brock Purdy cannot turn the ball over, the 49ers don't beat themselves, I think they should be able to beat the Seahawks. I am looking, Travis Ward is questionable with a knee injury, and Ward has been someone who's really gotten DK Metcalf in his feelings and kind of taken over that role since he's been adopted to the 49ers team, and that's been a joy to watch because obviously other teams, once again, same thing with other teams, I guess, think Geno's a good quarterback, and I don't. Other teams think DK Metcalf is a good wide receiver, and every time I see him against the 49ers, he's like throwing a tantrum. So if that's going to be a matchup that scares me, because what did they do there with DK? And then can the front four get home so it doesn't even matter because Geno Smith can't get the ball there? So it shouldn't all be on the defense, but I do think if the defense continues to play up to the standard that they did in the first half of the Cardinals game, that the 49ers should be able to win as long as Brock Purdy protects the football.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a wonderful summation of a preview for this game. I mean, for sure, I mean, you circled one thing that stands out to me totally, which is this legendary matchup that we've been seeing between Charvarius Ward and DK Metcalf. I mean, has absolutely neutralized DK Metcalf, where if you only were able to watch DK play when they were against the 49ers, you wouldn't really think much of him at all. But certainly he can be a threat when he wants to be. And if Charvarius Ward either isn't 100%, which he kind of has been playing like he's not 100%, I don't think that's necessarily exclusive to his injury, but it's not really.
I want the media, not to interrupt you, but I hope that someone presses a little bit. Kyle Shanahan came out and was like, Charvarius Ward is an IR candidate because of his knee. And I don't know if somehow I missed something, but I didn't even realize his knee was an issue. But yeah, I've definitely heard the narratives that he's not playing up to snuff. And if he's injured, that makes sense. He had a lull like this last year, too, when I think he was dealing with a ankle injury or something. It was a continuation from the offseason. But then he ended up rounding out the rest of his year and having a career year. But I didn't mean to totally cut you off.
No. I mean, I believe it's a knee bruise. Questionable, certainly better than doubtful, but if it's questionable and in parentheses, but even if he plays, he's not 100%. I mean, it sort of feels like what we're going to get. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. I'm hoping that our defensive front can still continue to put pressure on the Seahawks. I mean, the returns on Kevin Givens has been encouraging since Javon Hargrave got injured. I mean, we're certainly not paying Givens Hargrave money, but he's, gotten 6 pressures, 2.5 sacks. He's been doing all right. So hopefully Nick Bosa can continue to build on at least, he wasn't getting too much heat on the quarterback last week either, but hopefully he can stack some momentum off of his interception here and get in there.
Maybe that set a fire in him or inspired him.
And that's the other thing is I think one thing I'm looking for, and it's the reason why I put him in my Sourdeath Sam's $5 pick'em bit.ly/@SourdeathSam is I believe that Brandon Ayuk can build and should build off of the momentum that he had in the last game. And I believe that if he can do that in tandem with a win at the end of Thursday night, then I think they're going to feel like this offense is finally clicking a gear that they weren't able to click yet. They've been able to get George Kittle in the end zone. They've been able to get JP Mason in the end zone. They've been able to get Debo in the end zone. They made Jawan Jennings look like Jerry Rice for a game. But Ayuk has been the one player where he's sort of just been that link that they haven't been able to stitch together in this Cuban link of a supposed best team in the NFL. And so if we're able to get Ayuk hot again, then I think that will be very, very, that would bode very, very well for the 49ers' chances to win this game assertively. The past 5 times that we have played.
And it says something about future games, right? Like, there's a difference between can you scrape out of the Seahawks game with a win, and Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk are actually showing that their connection from last week is continuing. Like, that gives you, there's a different, right? Like, you can win this game and not feel inspired in the future games that are happening and be like, oh, they're lucky to win that.
Yes.
But if you're right, if Brandon Ayuk goes off again, you can be like, hey, that's why we paid him. He's finding it. It doesn't seem like a spoof that he did it last game. Like, this is going to continue to help us in not only this win, but throughout the season. This connection with Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk is still there. It was just a little bit of rust from not having an offseason. And now this is something we can feel reliant on. Like, we can feel like it's stable. Totally. That would be nice.
I would love to see a double-digit win. We've won 5 of the past matchups. I believe each of them have been by double digits. I want to keep that trend going. I want
Little
us.
payback from the Russell Wilson era.
I need something cathartic. Like I need to walk out of this fucking Thursday night football game feeling like I'm stepping out of an acupuncture session. Now the counterbalance to that is that it is a Thursday night football game, which always kind of stinks. But
Yeah.
I do have hope. I think the 49ers do take this one. I don't know why I feel optimistic, but I do, and I think they'll win by 10 points or more. I hope I'm not wrong, and I really hope I'm going to be really concerned if this falls into the hands of a kicker who we just signed. Because
I know. But he made like 42 out of 47 field goals, and some of those were from like over 50 yards. I don't understand kickers at all, but when I was looking at the numbers, I think Jesse Naylor put them on Twitter. And when I was looking at I like the team LaCroix. When I was looking, or do you call it LaCrux or whatever?
I call it
BS?
LaCroix. You're right.
Okay, there we go. When you look at the kicker stats of the extra points that he's made versus attempted, field goals that he's made versus attempted, and distance, I don't understand why he hasn't been on a team for 2 years. I mean, he looks like a superstar. He's missed like 8 kicks out of like 60.
Well, this gentleman will have a chance under the Thursday night bright lights
Yes, sir.
to show
See, I
us.
can-
Yes,
What he's
sir.
made of.
I'm like, this guy, he's going to kick us to victory, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kick us to victory, baby. All right. Enough of the sports talk. Let's get into what's most important in life, which is affirmations. Everyone's favorite cathartic online experience. Let me put on the music. Let me set the mood. All right. Let me put this up too.
Light a candle.
Yeah, I wish. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Affirmations. If you are joining me for the first time, if you have never been on this show, this is our opportunity, my guest and I, to be able to say kind or encouraging words to players, coaches, and anyone who we feel like. And I would like to offer the first affirmation opportunity to my guest. So, Ashley, go ahead and take it away. Who is your affirmation for?
It's Brock Purdy, and I know that he is just going to protect that football so good. 2 hands. He's not going to hold on for it for too long. He's not going to give any defensive lineman any clue when to put his hands up. He's going to snap in his hands, bam, throw to the target, sees it right away, has eyes just peeled for it. I think Brock Purdy's going to do incredible. He's going to have a great game. He's going to look much better than Geno Smith and show why he's a 49ers franchise quarterback with a couple game-winning touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk. And the reason I said a couple is because I'm with you. I'm affirming Sourdeath Sam as well, that there's going to be multiple touchdown leads. So
Yes. Hell yeah.
he's going to be on it. We love Brock Purdy.
Off to a great start here. My first affirmation goes out to Jake Moody. Buddy, I love you. I have been a Jake Moody truther forever. And you out there being a fucking dog, doing dog things. Should you have been out there trying to get tackles? I don't know, probably not. But you did, because that's your instinct. You're a dog. If I had injured dog of the day, you would have been injured dog of the day. Brandon Ayuk just had a massive game, so that's how that went. But you are a dog, and I love you, and I hope you get better soon. I know you will. I don't even think they're putting you on IR yet. So no matter what this new guy does, don't worry. You're the man, and I appreciate you.
Welcome.
All right, you're up.
I'm going to say Kyle Shanahan. You've heard worse before. The narratives, he's, lost the most leading, had the most leads and then lost in the fourth quarter of any 49ers coach. Yada, yada, yada. Why is he still here? You're going to show him why you're still here. Just much like Jake Moody. You got that dog in you. You know how to scheme people open. You know how to get the play action involved. It doesn't matter what the Seahawks do. You're going to go in there with your game plan, and you're going to execute that. And your guys are going to be prepared because you guys know what you do. You're a tough, physical team. You're going to kill it. I believe in you. None of those haters are going to get to you. You're going to go out in that press conference and hold your head high, give your snippy answers, and you're going to do that with pride. And you're going to do it because you can. Because you won.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
He tackles better than Campbell. I love that guy.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Hold on. Let me put that one up. I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Oh, I
But that
got
one's
that.
so good that it's got to go up. Jam 18 says Moody tackles better than Campbell. So true, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fucking Robert Saleh, dude. Rough day.
Yeah.
Rough day at the office.
Screw how they treated. I'm riding the Jets.
Yeah,
Screw them.
I don't like how they treated you, buddy. First of all, your defense has been doing things like Phil Jackson, and that offense. They should have just you should have fired Hackett, brother. I mean, that, but that's okay. That's another. That's you don't need that right now. What you need is support.
Affirmations turn into like.
Yeah, this isn't suggestions.
You're like, actually, merging your career with Aaron Rodgers was stupid of you.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have
I'm
hitched your
not
wagon
feeling
to
better.
a fucking not. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there either. Okay. Anyways, sorry, Robert. Didn't mean to get distracted.
You got it.
I want you to know that you are welcome home anytime in any way you want. And I know right now you want to go on vacation. I hope your vacation is fantastic. You have a lot of money to enjoy yourself, and I hope you do, because you are such a good dude, and everyone on our defense, when it was one of the best on the planet, loved you to death. So if at any point you want to come home to Santa Clara, share a little cheesecake with your boy, please. Let's bring you home whenever you're ready. But in the meantime, take the time you need. Get better.
Rest, recover.
Recover, and feel good, man. You should be proud. Not many people get to be a head coach in the NFL ever. And I don't even think it'll be your last opportunity. So just be patient, keep doing what you do, and we'll see you.
Shine your little head and come back to us. We miss you.
What's that?
I said, shine your head, get a little redness.
They do that at the
for
airport,
fun.
actually. Just go to the shoe guy, tip him an extra 10.
And then come back to us. We miss you.
Yeah, and then come
But
back.
also, you can do whatever you want, and you're gonna have all the opportunities. But also, we miss you. So,
Amen.
if you want to come back, we wouldn't be opposed to it.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you want one more? You do one more, I'll do one more?
I love that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Debo,
Mm.
my favorite player since 21. Since before that, but just a tough, physical. People don't understand you. You can do so much. Been struggling a little bit, but that's in the past. You're going to show up. You're going to catch the ball. You're going to break tackles. You're going to score some touchdowns. Oh, we need Christian McCaffrey back. We got to start scoring touchdowns. Oh, it's good that BA's, playing well again. All that's true. But you show them who has the dog. Why do you walk out with the boombox? Why is that you and Trent Williams? You're going to show them why. You're going to do some of that Eagles magic that you did last year. It's now or never. You're a guy who shows up in these games. You're going to give me the ball, Kyle, like you did in the Cowboys game. Got to get back to that 49ers football. And that's getting the ball in your hands and watching you just leave the other team in destruction. I believe in you. You got this. Your little boy's probably going to be there. Always love seeing those little pictures they put out. It's going to be a great game for you, Debo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, Debo. Doing big things. Let's get back to being the Yak Boys. This last one. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This last one, very real one. Not players, not coaches. Well, it could be players, coaches, it's everyone who is in the middle of this fucking hurricane path. And I know you're with me, so we're doing this one together, basically. But, you know, fellow creator Jesse Naylor, I know, lives in Tampa or in the Tampa area. I'm wishing him nothing but the best and safety for him and his family and everyone. To everyone who is in that path. Batten down the hatches, get to safety, do what you got to do. Sending a lot of love, thinking about you guys, and just hoping that, you know, no matter what goes down, that you all have each other, and, you know, that, you know, the rain may be here today, but you've got sunny days to come. So wishing you the best, sending everyone love, and, yeah, just be safe and you know, listen to your local storm officials about any safety precautions.
Yeah, don't be stubborn. If you were told to evacuate. I believe that your house will be fine, but I want you to be okay more than everything else. Got family, you got friends, lean on each other.
Amen.
We've never had to deal with that, but in NorCal we deal with fires, and in college there was some pretty bad fires in Sonoma County, and my dad refused to leave his house, and I was like so angry at him because he was like, well, I have to protect the house, and I was like, against a forest fire?
What's your plan?
And I'm like in Santa Barbara, and I'm like, hey, please leave. And I think because my dad is a wonderful dad and cares about me and he cares about his rip that he had to the house, I think the first one he stayed, but then I told him how much that really upset me. And the second one, he went to my uncle's house, which was a little farther away. That made me feel good.
Wise man. Yeah, you never want to go toe to toe with Mother Nature, because brother, not a good matchup. I'll tell you that. I'm betting the under on that. No offense. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Affirmations. That is 49ers Public Access. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the amazing Ashley Aireonna.
Having me on.
Of course. Anything to say to the adoring fans here before we have you hop off and I sign everyone out?
If you can, my YouTube channel is my name. It's Ashley Aireonna. Please go over there. I'll be going live tomorrow after the game. Like I said, from the game, so it might be, usually I'll go live on my laptop. I don't know. I might come home and do that, but I'll probably at least do a reaction on my phone, try to get some fans involved. Been going live multiple times a week with Marco, Stephanie, Tom Jensen from SI. Hopefully I can have Sam on if you guys enjoyed this. It won't be as clever because he's a creative genius, and always love your show, Sam. But yeah, if you enjoyed me, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And even if you don't do that, just leave good comments so Sam has me on here again, because I'm such a fan of the show. I was honored to be able to come on.
Absolutely. You just might be my go-to Seattle correspondent. So it seems like the done deal. We got to keep tradition alive. There we go.
Sir.
Ashley, thank you very much for coming on. I'm going to sign everyone else off, but appreciate it, and have an amazing time out there in Seattle.
You too. I hope it's a win for us. Thank you so much again, Sam.
Sam, I need that for my mental health. All right, take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Haywire says good show. I had very few technical errors this time. Gotta love that. Let's hope the 49ers have very few technical errors this time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there finishing up the show with me, just send some love to the folks down in Florida. I guarantee you that donations probably will be needed in the coming days, and we will cross that bridge when we get there. But we always want to help and support each other. It's all love. I know there's a lot of shit that divides us lately, but I promise you there's probably way more things that bring us together. One of the things that brings us all together, for example, is the echo that this show often has, G-Master Cupcake says. And so maybe the echo we really need is the echo of kindness, the echo of support, and the echo of camaraderie. So I appreciate you all very much for hopping on, as always. Go 49ers, and let's get this W. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.